Welcome to Montenegro here on the 8th of March. Happy Women's Day. I'm here at this place directly at the beautiful river crossing Podgorica with my Montenegro flag. And this is opposite of the hotel of Podgorica, and it's very nice here. It's very beautiful green and I'm very happy. And I want to call for Montenegro to join the European Union in 2024 and to organize European Parliament elections. That's ambitious, I know. We have to shock the French and this all anti-enlargement fatigue guys in Germany and all the racist, xenophobes, protectionists or Russian appeasers, Serbian appeasers, which we have in the European Union. And for 15 long years, since 2008, since the financial crisis, we have been in the defensive. We just under enormous pressure included Croatia, 2013, but Montenegro would be very logical, very easy to integrate. It's a NATO ally, it has the euro as currency, it has regulatory aligned, it has aligned with the foreign policy of the European Union, it's supportive of Ukraine, it has joined the EU sanction regime, it is absolutely has recognized Kosovo, and it's a very good country in all aspects. It's a magnet for international development, has low taxes, the euro as currency, and it is well governed as well, because billions of euro, many billions of international investment capital have come into Montenegro very successfully, and that's very good. I'm very happy for that, and I support Montenegro to be in the European Union. If it doesn't make 2024 because the French win again and all this kind of paralysis of the last 15 years is continuing, then at least 2029. But I don't know what we win with that. We only give the Serbs and the Russians more time to mess up Montenegro, because that's what they do, unfortunately. And I'm very negative about that one, that we don't really counteract, because there is unfortunately the reality that some countries really don't like the independence from 2006 and they want to turn back the time, and this is absolutely necessary to support Montenegro because it's a fantastic country. It did everything right and I really love Montenegro. It's so beautiful and I don't know why we should not support it or integrate it into the European Union, because it wants. And it's not very expensive. That's always an argument as well. We also integrate now Ukraine. That's very expensive, by the way, and I'm fully supportive. So the issue of Montenegro is probably with 600,000 people compared to 40 million in Ukraine, not so expensive, and it's actually quite developed. What of course they need is political stability. What they need is of course infrastructure. That's also expensive, but I think that's all within the framework of our multi-billion European Union. And anyhow, contrary to Sebastian Kurz, I have always argued for more money at the European level, because the tasks I knew very well from my professional work in Eastern Europe are huge. This is expensive, but this is the best thing to do. And that's why I'm calling for Montenegro in the European Union. I'm here also as the assembly place where I have witnessed several of these pro-Serbian demonstrations. And you know, from the ethnicity, everybody in Europe can feel as Serb, as Russian, whatever. We have Russians in Estonia, we have a lot of Russians in Germany, we have a lot of Serbs in Vienna. We have, they are very welcome, you know, and anyhow I think they're very well integrated and that's very good. So we have a Bosnian who is Minister of Justice, so we are open, and that's what Europe is about. That's the Europe I'm fighting for. You can feel in your nationality, in your ethnicity, in your religion, in your sex, gender, whatever you want, you're free in Europe. And that's the Europe I'm fighting for, because we have a tragic past and now we have a very good presence, and that's what we need to do. So anybody can feel a Serb in Montenegro, obviously, and everybody should be protected in the language, in the rights, in the history. But to impose a Serb narrative or a reintegration or some kind of Serbian world after 78 years of occupation of Montenegro by Serbia from 1918, that's really very wrong, yeah. And we should not go into the trap of nationalism or any kind of denigration of the Montenegrin identity. I feel as Austrian very strongly about this, because you can feel in Austria as well, you can say the Austrians are Germans. Yeah, people, my grandfather generation absolutely said that still. They said that all Austrians are Germans, yeah, but we are not, we are Austrians. So the Montenegrinians can absolutely say they are Montenegrinians and they don't have to be saying they are Serb Montenegrins. You can feel some people maybe in Austria still do that. Yeah, I don't know. So many, I don't think so. But we are obviously, when you go into bloodlines or these things, yeah, obviously there is a link to Germany historically in a long gone time. And so it's the same in Montenegro. But you can also make it a bit different than Austria. But to somehow deny statehood or nationhood to Montenegro, that's really very appalling for me as Austrian. And I reject that completely. And that's why I say, please support Montenegro, and I call also here very clearly for the re-election of President Đukanović, because he is the rock of the West in Montenegro. He has brought this country, he is broken with Milosevic, broken with his disaster. He was not in the Kosovo War. He has left this tragic Serbian world of Milosevic. He has introduced the euro in 2002. That's not what Serbia has still to this day not done, shamefully so. And I have argued for that a long time. Economically, has integrated Montenegro from the start. Even when Solana was against independence, he has economically integrated Montenegro in the European Union. That was the right choice to do. And he has then worked intensively. Obviously, he is the father of the independence of this country. He believed all the time in the re-establishment of Montenegro from 1878. And this is where Montenegro became one of the first states in the world to be, from the smaller ones, to be recognized by the big nations. That was very good. And he has done that, historic. He has historically, 11 years later, integrated Montenegro in the NATO in 2017. A historic achievement. And then he has also, in the tragic war year of 2022, he has kept this country firmly integrated within the sanction regime, contrary to Bosnia and of course to Serbia. What a contrast to Serbia he is. Yeah? And the international community is then supporting President Vučić and not President Đukanović. I cannot understand that because he has also really developed the country. And it's in any version, the much better version, if you want to compare the two countries, Serbia and Montenegro, together until 2006. And now this is the much more greener, cleaner, developed European country. And many Europeans now live here. They put their funds here. And this is really very good. And I'm so happy about it. That's why I came here to endorse his campaign and his re-election bid. And I call for that. And I call the West to support the rock of the West, Mr. Đukanović. He is the best option. And I call the Montenegrinians to vote for him. And then, you know, when you have problems with his past, you can always find the rule of law in Europe. And for the international investors, definitely he was also providing the rule of law in the cadastre. He has reformed the state. It's now so good that there are billions of capital invested in Montenegro and not so much in Serbia. The Serbian money comes from Arabia and the international capital goes to Montenegro. And that's also an important contrast I would like to underline. Yes, also in all aspects, it's much more developed than you can imagine, because Yugoslavia has never invested in Kosovo, Macedonia and Montenegro. These were the free occupied territories for them, and they have underinvested completely, and everything had to be built from the scratch. But you know, the stones and the basic infrastructure which Venice and which Austria has left. Yeah? Yugoslavia was a disaster regime, unlawful state or occupation authority for Montenegro, Kosovo and for Macedonia. And I'm happy it's demised. You can always say that Đukanović is already a long time in power. Yes, okay. Mr. Biden is in Congress since 1973 and Mr. Vučić was the Minister of Information for Milosevic. Yeah? You can also call it experience, and you can also call, okay, need for change. The international community is trying change since 2020 now in Montenegro all the time against Đukanović, and they tried all these options and all of them have been very disappointing and ultimately immediately fell under the spell of Vučić and the Russians and Serbian organized criminality and the various exposure. Yes, that's the fact, and that's very unfortunate. So it's not the time now ahead of the EU entry for this kind of experiments or this kind of positions against Djukanovic. It's in time for endorsement of Djukanovic to bring Montenegro into the European Union as fast as possible, provide the stability and progress required, and then inside the EU we can discuss many issues, and they will be discussed as well, but not now. Now it's time for re-election of President Djukanovic and for EU integration of Montenegro as fast as possible. Thanks a lot. All the best here from this most beautiful place here in Montenegro. Bye.